What up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Mo.J. This is episode 3 of Them, better known as day 4. Now, this is day 4. After day 2, I would have been like, yeah, I'm out of here. I would have woke up and the dog was dead. I'm gone. But this is day 4, so a lot of things are going on, and they're trying to make the best of it. And if you remember, Henry had to eat that pie last episode. He was in there crying. Forget that. But you know how it is. I got to do the YouTube stuff. Shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel, you want to be a part of this, hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Hit the like button. Thank y'all for rocking with me. Thank y'all for helping me grow. Now, I see a lot of comments of people talking about they scared. Don't be scared. This is just life. This is just life. And Miss Vera has your back. But I'm not going to hold y'all up too much more. This is episode 3 of Them. Day 4, people, current day, 1953. Now, we see Lucky. She's in the bed and she's kind of having nightmares. Because you remember the first episode, the old lady? Yeah, she's having flashbacks about that. And we're getting to know a little more details about this. Because during that whole process, not only did the white lady come up to the door and she started singing, those 3 men we seen that sergeant escorted to the house, well, they started kicking in the doors. They kicked in the doors. One of them came through the window. The old lady, she gets in through the front door and she has the child in her hands. So you can only imagine sleeping this off and then you waking up like, man, this was what my dream was. So what we do know is something bad happened back then. So Lucky gets up from this dream. She starts walking around the house, but she notices it's awkwardly quiet. You know, with Gracie in the house, it's going to be a lot of noise. But she goes to the table and Henry left a message. Didn't want to wake you, took the girls, back soon, love, H. So looks like it's a free day. I ain't got to worry about Gracie acting a fool. Sergeant's dead. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go do some laundry. You know, hang stuff up. 'Cause that's what we had to do back in the day to dry our clothes out. While she's out there hanging up the sheets and things, she starts to hear a noise and it sounds like some water is hitting something. She turns around. As you can see here, there's a little boy, little white kid, pissing all over the sheets and stuff. And you already know how Lucky is. She grabbed that gun and ain't no telling what she gonna do to this little kid. Lucky being lucky. She grabs a stick and she starts to chase this kid. I'm talking about, she's doing it in some little loafers too. I'm talking about with the 1-inch heel. She's out here full stride. She's hawking this little boy, and this little boy is running, screaming, scared as hell because he ain't never seen a black person up close, let alone one with some speed like Lucky. And I'm telling you, she is on his ass. Of course, you got our neighborhood watch, Miss Betty, across the street. Oh my God. I'm talking about the kids out of breath. Mommy, that nigga fast. The kid gets over to his mom, but mind you, Lucky never touched this kid. So keep that in mind. She never touched the kid, but it still looks bad because a black woman is chasing a kid down the street with a stick. Lucky, she's looking around all of the neighborhoods looking at her, but she's like, you know what? I'm going back to the house, man. I done had enough of this. Now, if you remember earlier, they do have family members in California, but they live in Watts and they live in Compton. Lucky gets on the phone and she calls up one of the cousins named Hazel. Now, she's talking to Hazel, and Hazel, you can hear her on the phone. She's in good spirits because she's probably in the black neighborhood. And you know, when we in the black neighborhood with our folk, we good. So she's on the phone talking about, I wonder when y'all bougie asses gonna call us. And Lucky's just letting her know, look, I got to get up out this house because if I stay here, I'm going to slap a bitch. So at least they have somewhere that they can go to be amongst their own. But it's tough, man. It's only day 4 and all this is going on. Henry's doing what any father would do. He knows it's been a tough first 4 days. So he took the girls out. And what are they buying? They're buying a television. Now, when they get in there, you got a salesman in there smoking a cigarette. Ooh. You know what you look like? You look like a man that wants the top of the line TV because the last TV you probably bought broke down on you. Well, look, I'm going to introduce you to the TV that I have in my house. And if it's good enough for me, I know it's good enough for you. Henry's like, we never had a TV before. But this is a salesman, so he doesn't care if you're black, white, brown, yellow, green. He's trying to make a sale because the salesman is going to get commission on it. So Henry's looking at it. He's like, you know what? I'm going to make this home a house. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to make this house a home, whatever way it is. Keep in mind, people, this is the 50s. Now they're selling this to look like a 13-inch TV for $319. And Henry, being the businessman and the number savvy man that he is, he's like, man, Sears and Roebuck got that for cheaper. So he's like, all right, let me go talk to the manager. And he comes back out and says, look, I can get you a deal, free shipping, maybe in the next 2 hours. Shipping on these TVs back then was probably another $30, $40. So, you know, $319, you can get you a 40-inch TV for that now. Back then, man, $319, smaller than the TVs I'm working on now. But it's just something strange going on, because while they're waiting on this little package deal for the free delivery, Henry looks at one of the TVs and he sees a man on there blackface dancing. Pretty much that's how he feels going to work. Man, I'm just at work dancing for the white man, doing all this work for the white man. But then he looks again, he snaps out of it, and it's back to the regular scheduled program on the TV. So you start to see things, man. You start to see things. Now, y'all remember George the Milkman? Well, George the Milkman is doing milky things, whatever that means. But he's at the house with Betty, and we know that he only has eyes for Betty. And she's telling him, we might have to cut this little meeting short. First of all, why the hell is the milkman at the house? But y'all know the old saying, the milkman may be your father, because the milkman creeps up in the house. He comes, he delivers the milk, easy access. Betty's at the house by herself, but he sits back down because she's like, you don't have to leave right now, but just talk about anything. You talk. So George, he's like, at this point, I might as well make my move. If you ever just need a place to go, you can come out to my ranch, you know, see the cows, remove yourself from this city life and get away from things. But Betty, playing it cool, she's like, oh, but what about Clark? And then George said, oh, well, yeah, both of y'all can come. But we know what's really going on here. He's just trying to, you know what I'm saying, trying to fish, throw that lure out, see if he can reel something in. But she kind of shoots it down. But we already know how this is going to play out. George the milkman got his own farm and stuff. Betty, she's kind of upset with Clark because Clark ain't stepping up at the little homeowners association meeting to get the blacks across the street up out of here. So I might need to run away with George. Henry got his girls and they out for a day on the town. Now they go into a little cafe. They go in there and the girls are like, oh, where we going to sit? And since they're in the city of LA, it's not as bad as it is in Compton. So they sit right on down. The white lady comes up, the waitress, what y'all girls want? Henry like, let me get a 2 root beer floats and a coffee. So things are better inside of the city than within the isolation of Compton. On the other side of town in Watts, Lucky done rode the bus down there, but when she gets off, she's starting to notice, hey, it's different over here. Black people, hey, how's it going, sister? You just got people out talking. So there's a huge difference between Compton and Watts, the black community and the white community. She feels more comfortable out here in Watts. Henry busts in the door, baby, I got a new TV. Where you at? But she left a note because she's out in Watts. Now they're in the house, and the two movers, they're like, we could set up the, you know what I'm saying, for a little bit extra money, we could set the TV and antenna on the roof for you. Henry's like, nah. So they're like, all right, cool. But one of the dudes say, how long you been living here? Henry's like, what, in Compton? It's like 4 days. And he tells him straight up, hey man, watch yourself. Watch yourself. Uh-oh, look who cousin Hazel is. Lucky goes in there. She's like, oh my goodness, I should have brought something. Now Hazel's house is packed. I'm telling you, it looked like my mama house on the summer in the 90s. My cousin Terrence, he be watching the show too. He's over there. It'd be 10, 12 of us in a little 3-bedroom house, but we make it work. We make it work. So this is the community that you want to be around. Hazel is actually Henry's cousin, and she hasn't seen Lucky since she was like 9 years old. We get introduced into another cousin. This is Julius. I'm Julius. Same name, same spelling. Pronounce it different. Betty, our favorite neighborhood watch. She calls a meeting of all the women, and she has the girl whose son Tommy was the one peeing all over the cloth. Now the lady's like, we had to whoop Tommy, but you know, we didn't expect him to get chased by a nigger with a stick. So Betty's like, tell her how she beat your son. She never touched my child. But Betty's trying to get everyone riled up, you know, to be like, oh, we need to get him up out of here. So Betty gets mad, like, wait, so am I the only one that's seen her with a gun? And everybody else is like, well, maybe we did. I don't know. I didn't see anything. One of the ladies on the couch was like, maybe Dell and Midge are right, you know, to move out of here. And this just enrages Betty even more because she's like, man, I want to move out of here. Dell and Midge ain't tell us they were moving. Some of the good old white folk decided to come over here and harass Henry because they think his nigger wife then whooped on their good old white boy Tommy. They throw a can, it doesn't make it up there. But Henry's like, look, pick that can up. And they're like, nah, you come on down here and talk to us. And Henry says, if I come down there, he picks up a hammer. If I come down there, it's going to be problems. I'm going to get on one of y'all ass before y'all get on me. And it ain't going to be pretty. I feel the same way. If I'm about to get jumped, I'm going to get one of y'all before y'all get me. I tell you that. So now these good white folk, they backing down because Henry asked him, look, did my wife touch your child? And the guy's like, well, not really touch. And Henry's like, all right, I'm going to come on down there. But it ain't going to be pretty. I tell you that. It is not going to be pretty. And the men, they start, oh, well, hey, you just keep your wife over here and don't bring her around here. Pretty much scared as hell. They don't want no problems. This man got this damn hammer, and they know a man backed into the corner. Hey, that's a deadly man. You got to watch out for that. They start to reassess the situation, and this gentleman here looks over and says, hey, man, we might need to chill out because coons, they as strong as apes. Yeah, they're going to go ape shit on your ass. You keep playing around with this boy. Now I'm talking Lucky over here eating good. She done startled up all these white folk back at home. Now Henry out here trying to fight for his life. She's over here eating ham. They got turkey. They got yams. It's like Thanksgiving in the summer. But she starts to tell everybody there, hey, I just feel welcomed over here because we're all family. And it sucks that we all lost connection because over the years, but I feel welcomed here, and y'all more than welcome to come to Compton. Everybody's looking at her like, Compton? We ain't messing with that. But this is what Betty was trying to prevent, you know, because when you bring one of the family members over, we bringing everybody over. We all about to eat and hang out, but they ain't going to no Compton. Compton ain't no place for no black person. Now everybody getting to tell their stories about how white folk do this, white folk do that, and Hazel's like, hey, chill, y'all. Because she doesn't want Lucky to be scared. She knows it's crazy over in Compton, but you don't want her to go back home with all that on her mind, because I'm pretty sure Lucky's explained some of the crazy thing that's been going on. Auntie Hazel them did the hair up, and they're in there talking, but she keeps making references about her son. Like, okay, yeah, it's three of y'all. You bring your girls over here. I do their hair. I hook them up. And if you didn't know, Julius can cut some hair, put some waves in the kid's hair. What's his name? Chester. And Lucky, she's not really answering any questions. And Hazel's like, listen, this out here in LA beats that Jim Crow back at home. So you just got to adjust to it and start to like it, because back at home, it ain't the same. But come on out here and enjoy this party. Now her son Chester keeps popping up in her head. So now we know that something bad happened to Chester. We seen the box with the CE on it. There was a pillowcase in there. We seen the white lady at the beginning of the episode holding the baby. So we know something bad happened to Chester. And she sees a young boy here at the party, and that triggers her. She has to leave. And Hazel's like, no, don't go. But they don't understand what's really going on, because they don't even know that something happened to Chester. Town meeting, Dale's up front, and Betty, she's looking for Clark, but Clark ain't show up. I told y'all, Clark don't want any parts of this. He's just like, man, I ain't got no problem with them. I'm not about to be bothered with it. Now Dale's up there, and he's starting to lie. Yeah, me and a couple of the boys, we went on over there. Me and Carl went over there, and we straightened them out. We let them know that, hey, y'all time is limited. So we're going to do this slow and steady, and we're going to get them up out of here. But that's because they got checked today. And Dale doesn't want people to know that his ass was scared. Him and who was it, Carl, that went with him? Betty had enough of Dale slow and steady. So she gets up and she starts to give them a white history lesson, talking about between 18 something and 1907. What were blacks doing? Nothing, being mammies and working outside. Well, our forefathers were building this country. Well, technically they weren't building the country. The Asians came over and built all the railroads. The blacks were still doing cheap labor. But she's telling them, this is our country. We need to do this. We need to get them up out of here at a faster pace. And then one guy says, and do what? Go to jail? Because a lot of these people know, man, we're not about to wild out and go to jail and put our life in jeopardy just to try to get some blacks out of here where we could just move. But Betty, she's telling everybody in here, we good white folk, we need to get it done on our own and now. Some people are like, I don't know about this, Betty, but a lot of them, they just followers. Hell yeah, let's do it. Lucky makes it down to that bus stop. It's kind of dark outside. Me personally, back in the 50s, I ain't riding that bus. I barely ride the bus now, but I ain't riding that bus back in the dark. Not on my own, not for my first trip. Nah, not happening. But Lucky does it, and she gets on the bus. Lucky falls asleep, and when she wakes up, there's nobody on the bus. Bus driver gone. And there's somebody, look like they got a nice suit on and a hat. But Lucky's like, who the hell is this? The lights are flickering, lightning and stuff is going on. The guy disappears and he ends up behind her, and she's like, what the hell? At this point, she's like, man, I'm getting out of here. She walks to the front of the bus, and then you just see some random hands start to grab on her. Oh my goodness. I told y'all, don't get on this bus after dark by yourself. You ain't never been out here with all this stuff going on too. So now she's spooked. She got hands on her. Oh Lord, we only know where this is gonna go. The hands start dragging her to the back of the bus. She's screaming and kicking. Ah! Ah! She's in the back of the bus, kicking, screaming. She can't even get up. Nothing's holding her down. The man with the hat's just standing over her looking like, I got your ass. Lucky, don't bring this bad energy back to the house. Henry just got a new TV. He ain't trying to hear none of that. But this dude's like, yeah, I got you. Then she wakes up in the back of the bus like nothing ever happened. But she does know this isn't the seat I got on the bus in. Now she gets escorted home, and Sergeant Wheatley is the one that picks her up. And they said they searched the bus front and back 2 or 3 times, and there was no one else on the bus. The bus driver was the last person. I don't know what you're doing here, but you're acting kind of crazy, and we don't want that in Compton. We do not want that in Compton. So Sergeant Wheatley, he's keeping order in the neighborhood, but he's also like, hey, you gotta chill out, cause I gotta patrol this neighborhood and keep things in order. Before he lets Lucky out the car, he tells her, I feel like you and your family, y'all can fit in real nicely here in Compton, but you have to make these white folk feel safe. Pretty much, don't be you. Make them feel safe. And then he tells her, get on out of here. Betty comes in there and she's talking to Clark. You didn't show up to the meeting today. Had me in there looking like a fool. I had to take control of the meeting. And you let Henry just be on his house, doing whatever he wanted freely. You owe me. And Clark is like, oh, brother, here we go. Lucky finally gets home and Henry's like, man, the girl's asleep. We were worried about you. I know you was over there with Hazel and they can drink. But I need to know what happened today because them white folk, they came over here and said you touched their child. And she's like, I didn't do that. I didn't touch that kid. I may have chased him, but I didn't touch that kid. And there was hands pulling me on the bus. So Henry's like, what is all this that's going on? And then he's like, I need to know what happened to our child that day. And she's trying to say that day. No, this stuff is going on right now. So these two, they aren't on the same time level, like the time scale, because Henry's still thinking that she's having flashbacks about the child. But Lucky's trying to explain to him, man, there's paranormal stuff that's happening right now that's affecting me. Henry's like, look, if someone did something to you, let me know because I'm going to go handle it. She's like, it's not just them. It's not just them. As the white folk, there's something wrong with this place, Henry. This house, Compton, LA, all of it. Is something wrong with it. And Henry, he's just sitting there like, man, I really don't understand what's going on. And she wants Henry to believe her. So she's asking him, do you believe me? And Henry doesn't answer it. He doesn't answer it. But it's probably a little bit of resentment because I told you about the mustard gas and you gave me another pie yesterday. How can I believe something when you don't believe me and the mustard gas? But this is just something that people got to talk about in relationships. So I'm sure they're going to figure it out. But Lucky, she's really going through some things. Now, Clark then got into some stuff because Betty is on his ass. Now, I told y'all Betty is running Clark. Clark don't want no problems. He don't want no parts of this. But what these good old white folk do, they go over there and they start pouring what it looks like to be gasoline on the yard. They about to do some ignorant shit. You got Betty looking out the window because they about to light this thing on fire. And this is exactly what she wanted. They spelled out nigger heaven in the front yard of these people's house and lit it on fire. This is ridiculous, but this is what people dealt with in the 50s. We're seeing the same thing going on now, maybe not to this extent, but it's the same thing. Marking out Black Lives Matters that they painted over the roads, it's the same thing. It is the same thing.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.